Good morning. I'm Pastor Gail Dingwell of Ridgecrest, New York, and this is a mid-month summary of our February Bible study. At the end of January, we had left off with God's people, Israel, having relocated from Canaan all the way to Egypt in order to survive a prolonged famine. We also studied an account of a profoundly righteous man named Job as he is forced to sort out his own faith in God in light of the presence and pain of evil. So in February, we pick up the story, now nearly 400 years later, beyond the time of Genesis, with the once hospitable Egyptians' hearts now hardened towards Israel and determined to enslave and oppress them. As their enslavement grows harder and harder, God continues to bless Israel and to grow their numbers. We see that even this makes the Egyptians fearful, even hateful of Israel, to the point of systematically murdering the Hebrew children. Well, over time, in answer to Hebrew pain and crying out, the Lord provides. He provides rescue for one Hebrew baby named Moses. Now, Moses is spared from death by the king's own daughter. And by her mercy, he grows up living in both worlds, the world of a royal prince and that of a Hebrew slave. We progress forward with Moses now in adulthood when he is compelled to flee Egypt for his own safety. It's then that he finds refuge with a Midianite shepherd by the name of Jethro. There, with Jethro, Moses settles in and lives the next 40 years in relative obscurity. It is from this life that he is called by a supernatural visitation of God to return, to go back to Egypt and to act as God's agent to free the Hebrew people. Reluctantly, Moses obeys. And following a prolonged conflict with the king, Pharaoh, which is marked by divine plagues both upon the Egyptian people and their idols, Israel is released, free from their enslavement. But it's not long, however, that we discover Israel is still very much enslaved by their former way of thinking and acting. It's at a critical moment that the Hebrew people grow impatient and construct a golden calf, which they then in turn worship as their God. Well, the Lord is furious, but is slowly persuaded to spare Israel's lives, even to the point of promising to journey with them to that very place that he had promised would be their land from the very beginning. So in response to this, under Moses' instruction, they create both a place and a system of worship to worship the one true God, Jehovah. And that's where I'll leave you today. I hope you too will discover the Father's blessing for yourself as you study his living word.